Hey, welcome to another episode of Tree Talk. Today, Dave Apsley is going to be talking about a possible threat to the oak forest here in southern Ohio and in our area, sudden oak death. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to another episode of Tree Talk. We're talking with Dave Apsley. He's a natural resource specialist and works with the Ohio State University Extension. And he's going to be talking about something that I just found out about, a sudden oak death.
Yes.
And that's a possible problem.
Yeah. It sounds really scary. We don't want to alarm people, but there is a slight potential that this could be a problem in Ohio. So I just wanted to kind of give people a little background. And essentially what happened is back in May, the state of Indiana found some plants that were purchased at local Walmart and Rural King stores. And they had this disease called sudden oak death. And it's actually a Phytophthora. It's a water mold disease that can move in the soil column, and it's never been known to be established in Ohio or any eastern states as far as that goes, but there is a slight potential that it could happen. So essentially what happened, some plants from a nursery out west got shipped to multiple states in the east. I think it was 17 total states, and Ohio is one of the states. And these plants are mostly rhododendrons. There are a few lilac plants that were in that mix. And those plants are a good chance they could have this disease called Phytophthora, and it's the disease that causes sudden oak death. So what happens, there's a lot of different understory plants that can harbor or carry this disease. And if they get established in the understory of our oak forest, then potentially that disease could spread to the forest in the area. Again, this disease has caused some pretty serious problems in the west and mainly in coastal areas of California and Oregon. And we don't even know that it can get established here or survive here. But there are quarantines, and we're trying to prevent that possibility. So we found a little more information out a little bit more recently. Department of Ag put out the Ohio Department of Agriculture, in association with APHIS, the Agriculture Plant Health Inspection Service, it's a federal agency, found out that we in Ohio received about 1,600 of these potentially infested plants. These plants were distributed to like 150 Walmart stores and Rural Kings in Ohio. And so what ODA did back in July is they recommended that if you purchase one of these plants between March 1st and June 1st, that we highly recommend that you report that to ODA, and we'll talk about how to do the reporting, and that you dig up this plant and destroy it. And we'll spend a little time talking about how to destroy the plants as well. So just want to make people aware that these plants did get out and about. Some got recalled, some didn't make it out to customers, but a fair number of those plants did get out to the public, and we want to take every precaution to try to make sure that we don't have this problem with sudden oak death disease.
So just out of curiosity, how do I know that I have potential sudden oak?
So the only way you could be exposed that we know of is that you would have purchased one of these rhododendron or lilac plants from Walmart or Rural King between that time frame. So if you didn't purchase plants during that time frame that meet that description, we've since found, I think they should have had a tag that says Park Hill Nurseries. So if you didn't purchase a rhododendron or lilac during that time frame, you have nothing to worry about.
Okay.
If you did, we've got some recommendations, and we want you to take some precautions.
And so if I suspect or if I feel that I have contributed to this, who should I contact?
So right now, probably the best thing to do, we're working on a local effort, and soon, in the next week or so, we're going to have local press releases going out, and we're focusing mainly on in in southeastern Ohio. The main reason we're focusing there is because that's where the highest potential risk would be. We've actually got a risk map that we're going to pop up here in a second. So I know the state boundary is a little tough to see, but the highest risk areas in the east are probably that Appalachian mountain chain. And I think there's a couple reasons why that's our highest risk area. This map is a little dated. It's a map produced by Cook and Smith back in 2012 in a Forest Service publication. But the red areas, the highest risk areas, are probably associated with the Appalachian Mountains, and that's where a lot of rhododendrons and other plants that are in the understory likely occur. It also is the area that has the highest humidities and the similarities to the areas where it's been a problem in the west. But if you look at the map, you'll see a couple moderate to high areas that bump almost into the river in Ohio. So we're not a super high risk area, but if you think about Ohio and where our forests are, and where our oak-dominated forests are with these understory plants, we're looking at the southeast, more likely to be a problem than anywhere else in the state. So in a 17-county area that we're focusing on in southeast Ohio, we're trying to ramp up our efforts a little bit. So eventually, those 17-county areas, we're talking essentially from Adams County up to about Monroe County, down along the river and a couple tiers of counties up, we're going to identify, and we're in the process of identifying a local point of contact. And that person will be either in the local soil and water office, the local extension office, and then those folks will be there to help you take your call, help you through the process. And if you need help removing and destroying the plant, we're actually going to have some people that can possibly come out and help you dig the plant and destroy it properly. So in the meantime, until we get that, we're welcome, and we'll have Sarah put up my contact later, but you can either email me at Apsley, APSLEY.1@osu.edu, or you can call me at 740-710-3009. That's 740-710-3009. We'll have that contact information for you. You get a hold of me, and then I'll hook you up with the person in your county that received it, or that can help you.
Dave, this is, I think it's very vigilant of you, because oftentimes we're hit with some major disasters in the forest area, and sometimes it's too late. And so let's hope that this sudden oak death really doesn't happen.
Yeah, and we don't think it's a real high possibility, but we also have a lot to lose
That's right.
in our forest products industry.
You're absolutely right.
And we do know that almost every Walmart and Rural King in this part of the state did receive some of this potentially infected plant material. And so if you did receive that material, a couple things we want you to do. One, you can call me, and once we get that local contact, you can call there and they'll help you. But the Ohio Department of Agriculture has a web page where you can actually report. So we'll get Sarah to pop up that web page, and we'll put the web link on the site as well. And there at the top, you'll see a Submit a Report tab.
Yes.
And they're going to ask you, when did you buy the plant? Where did you buy the plant? Where's the plant located? So what we're trying to do is find out where these plants went out there. And then if we start seeing symptoms, or these sites could also be potentially sites that we could over time monitor the sites to see, hey, we've had these plants brought in, we know this is a site a plant was planted, and we can follow that site, and hopefully nothing develops. But if it does, those are the places that we want to focus in on.
And the one thing that I wish to stress is, oftentimes when you have a diseased forest, it takes a long time to happen. This could be very serious.
This could be very, very serious. And in addition to going and reporting that, if you want to be precautious, especially like me, I lived right on the edge of the woods with oak trees growing there. If you want to take the precautions, what the Department of Agriculture is recommending is that you destroy your plant. And probably the best method that they recommend,
plants that you acquired from the nursery,
the ones that you acquired during that time frame from Walmart or Rural King, if it's a rhododendron,
Right.
if it's one of these plants, and again, we can help you decide if it's one of those plants, they recommend you dig the plant up, put it in a heavy-duty trash bag, double bag it, and make sure it gets to a sanitary
Yeah.
landfill. So it's not too difficult to do.
Right.
We also recommend that if you're digging this plant up, there is a possibility you could spread it with your shovel, so you should sterilize that shovel with a 10% bleach solution. So just take some Clorox, mix up in a bucket, 1 part bleach to 9 parts water, let your shovel set in there overnight, and that'll help you prevent that from spreading. But again, it's something we don't want to set out unnecessary alarm bells, but it's a quarantine disease. We're trying to keep this contained, and we're hoping it won't happen. We don't think it'll happen, but it's not worth taking that risk. Kind of like washing your hands.
Yeah.
You know, it's not
Yeah.
likely you're going to spread a disease, but why not use a hand sanitizer to take the precautions?
You're absolutely correct. So if you acquired a oak plant from Rural King or Walmart from March 1st,
to June 1st, I'm sorry. And a little correction, they weren't oak plants, they were rhododendrons or lilacs that carried the disease.
Oh, okay.
So again, March 1st to June 1st, if you bought a rhododendron or a lilac during that time frame from Rural King or Walmart, give us a call and we can confirm what varieties of those plants it could possibly be, and then we highly recommend you report and dispose of that plant properly.
Very good. Thank you, Dave.
You're quite welcome. Thank you, Pat.